So today's video is about improving with the Wingman. Now, I think we can safely say that there is a lot of us that are in a position where we could always get better with various weapons, and in my case, my weakest weapon by a long mile is the Wingman. So my name's Dracula44. Thank you very much for taking the time to just check out the video. Now, before I do get into the details with it, do remember to never stop moving, never stop believing, and stay Apex. Now, what I wanted to do on this particular occasion is to show you the clip where I've been using the Wingman, and I felt that I was kind of improving. Now, I'm no expert with the Wingman, I won't deny that. I'm definitely one of those people who sticks with weapons that I know, and I find it a big struggle to change weapons and stray away from the ones that I'm the most familiar with. But I want to get better with every single weapon, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there in the same position, and sometimes you've got to take those hits, you've got to, you know, risk it, you've got to kind of like get better only by practicing, and there are a mixture of ways to do that. Now, as you can sort of see in the background, we are fighting a squad sort of kind of in a part of King's Canyon. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Yeah, one of those things where you just have a mind blank for various names. The only bit I don't like about it is exactly what kind of happens in a short while is that someone else starts shooting. But as you can see, one of the big things with the Wingman is the movement and the strafing speed. With any pistol of any sort, including the Wingman, you have a faster strafing speed to any other gun, which is very, very useful. Now, as you can also see there, we get third-partied, or we couldn't be third-partied by someone shooting with a triple take, and that is why we move position. But, you know, the whole point of this is that with the Wingman, it does a lot of damage. Yes, if you have the Skull Piercer, of course, it's going to do a lot better. If it doesn't, then, well, it's still a very good gun, but you can see here, I mean, this is, you know, how quickly I put a Gibraltar down. Now, Gibraltar is a character that are legends that I really struggle with, and he is one of those characters that normally I can't kill. I literally 3-tapped him. Yes, he moved about literally as agile as a potato, which was fine, I don't mind, but however, you know, I will take that. But the damage, I was literally able to literally kill him almost straight away. Now that is much more what I'm talking about, and generally speaking, it is just nice that you've got that movement. Now, in the clip here, I mean, this is just a kind of like the end bit with the clip before I go into the firing range with my friend JHD. Weapon combos is something that I'm going to be talking about as well in the future, and that's just about, you know, what the best weapon combos are, what can work. In my case, a Wingman and a Prowler with Select Fire worked really well and clutched out that last kill against a very annoying Caustic. Right, well, let's jump into the firing range then with JHD, and let's see how that goes. So straight away, I mean, I'm not going to mind saying that JHD is far superior than me with the Wingman. He's much more practiced, I'm very much less so, and he used hand cannons in Destiny 2 as well. So, you know, all these things do kind of come into it. Also, his movement and speed and everything else is insanely good, and yeah, I find him very, very hard to hit. Now, the biggest thing with the Wingman I've found myself is that it's very unforgiving. A lot of people, especially PC players, talk about the high aim assist that console players actually get. I don't know exactly where they get that from. You know, if you're right close to a player and they're right in your face, yes, it pulls slightly towards that particular legend. But if they're a distance, like you can see shooting in the background, you get absolutely no aim assist whatsoever, so it means you've got to hit your shots. Well, this is where, you know, personally, I kind of struggle. Wingman, you know, naturally, I mean, here we're using a level 1 mag, so we've only got like 6 bullets. I find that, like, you fire your shots, if you miss a couple of shots, it's fatal, and, you know, you really kind of have to risk it. Now, fortunately, in this particular clip just behind, I managed to pull off actually downing JHD, which is a miracle, but he nearly killed me, and that was very, very risky. So it's kind of like a lot of things, you know, when you look at you know, just these different elements of what the Wingman brings. It brings high damage. If you have a Skull Piercer, it brings even more damage if you land your shots. But if you miss your shots, this gun is going to be completely unforgiving, and you're going to get killed. And you'll see this in the background. You know, I make a mistake, I have to reload. He's got the advantage. He jumps down and he knocks me. So it is a really hard gun to learn and get familiar with. But then this is why me and JHD will jump into the firing range. As I've said in a previous video, I posted one about the Hemlock as well that we did, because that's one of his weaker weapons on the burst fire, and that's one of my stronger weapons. So I did do a video on that. I'll post that down below in the link. Now, regarding the Wingman, the biggest thing with it is that the strafe speed and the movement speed and everything else is really awesome. And this particular skin that you can see in the background as well, Precision Caliber, or the other one from the past, if you have got the past, I well recommend using it, because actually without a scope, the iron sight is really clean on it. Is it pay to win? Maybe. I mean, they did it with an R99 skin, and I'm sure that, like any company, their incentive is to make absolutely sure that you're buying that pass, because they make money on it. But however, it is a very good skin, and it does make it a lot easier, even without a scope, to hit your shots. Obviously, if you can use a scope with it, absolutely fine. But it's not the end of the world if you don't. Now, the big thing with the Wingman is that it's taking your time to land your shots. Rushing and firing wildly is going to get you killed. This is what I found out from my previous experience, because at the end of the day, if you start firing one shot, two shot like you would an assault rifle, like you would kind of most other guns, you've got some forgiveness. A Spitfire, you've got 35 bullets on a basic mag, let alone an extended mag, and you can miss some shots. You've got some forgiveness there. The Wingman, you have none. If you miss your shots, like you can see in the background there, you're going to have to duck cover, and you're going to have to reload. Well, you don't always get that chance to duck cover and reload. If someone pushes you while you're reloading, now suddenly they're up close to you, and where I really struggled is when someone was right in my face. Distance like this, I mean, okay, I am missing shots terribly there actually, so ignore that point. But however, like when kind of like at range like I do there, yes, I managed to down JHD that time. But when he's right close to my face, or really close, I cannot hit him for love nor money. And I really struggle with that as well. Now, that is something that I'm going to have to practice with over time. It's going to take me clearly a while to get better with this gun. But it is something that I am starting to now pick up more. Previously, I never had. And you might say, oh, why is that? Why would you use other guns? And it's like, well, because you feel comfortable with other guns, you're going to use what you feel most comfortable with when you find them, and you're going to, aim for getting, the best game you can, the best kills, you're going to win games. Mainly, for me, wins, there isn't as much incentive compared to, I mean, it is nice winning, obviously, of course it is, but kills is probably the big thing, because that's really kind of what you have to go for. But yeah, this is what you can see exactly here. This is where I struggle. JHD comes right in, and I can't shoot him, I can't hit him for love nor money, and it drove me crazy. He kept on doing it, and I said to him, why do you keep, coming up so close? And he said, well, because I feel comfortable, I can hit you from that kind of range. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, fair enough then. So he's picking my biggest weakness and using it to his advantage. And it's like, well, there's probably a lot of players out there like that struggle in one area. And if you can identify that in a fight, it's going to most definitely help you in regards to actually giving you that advantage, which is always most definitely a good thing. So yeah, that is pretty much the idea behind the Wingman. I mean, I think regarding this particular gun, it is a very high risk, high reward type weapon, and it does take a bit of getting used to, growing the confidence, kind of just really using it as much as you can. And that is not always going to be the case. I mean, look, you're going to find sometimes another gun and it's going to be too hard to resist. Oh, I just found a gold Spitfire, I'm picking that up. They rarely come about, and you're obviously going to come across things like that. However, if it is a gun, or there is another gun that you're just not confident with, then it is well worth trying to get familiar. Now, as you can see in the background, I mean, I've got the height advantage against JHD. I can't hit my shots. I try to run away, and yeah, it doesn't go very well. He hits me absolutely perfectly. He hit me perfectly with every shot. Now, that is the kind of the power of what the Wingman can do if you use it correctly. And, like I say, I mean, JHD, very good at shooting you with the Wingman at times. Now, sometimes he misses his shots. I mean, there's a couple of clips, I can't remember if they're in here or ones that we had games where he missed nearly every bullet, and that gave me a bit of an advantage. I do find one thing as well that I like doing with any weapon, it works a little better with the Wingman, but works with pretty much any gun, is that, you know, if I run out of ammo and I'm not planning to swap weapon, which is situational, of course, depending on the kind of, you know, what's happening, then I will usually try and jump about whilst reloading to make myself as hard to hit as possible. It is a really good technique. I do find also crouching as well really handy. If you can sort of crouch, you can sort of like jump about, move about and things. It will make you a little bit difficult, or a little more difficult to hit. Yes, he did hit me there and he got me, but I got hit early on, and of course, you know, it does a lot of damage. If you take a headshot, I think the big things with it is that it's interesting as well, because if you have, say, no skull piercer and you shoot someone with a white helmet, it is going to do more damage. If you have someone with a gold helmet, which is what we had here, a headshot with a skull piercer did around about 77 damage. It would do less on a Gibraltar and Caustic because they have 15% less, so it would do kind of, I don't know, somewhere in the region of maybe 60 something, I'm guessing. I'm not sure exactly, but it would do less, so you know, it is worth bearing in mind there. Now, as you can see, JHD jumps over me, hits me with the shots, and I was just like, oh, thanks. But it was good, you know, and this is kind of where you can learn from someone, is kind of like, oh, right, okay, yeah, do that, yeah, sure. It's going to take some practice, but this is good. But yeah, I mean, going back to the damage, you know, I mean, like, it is very high damage if you can hit your shots. And this is the thing, it's taking the time. Now, if you haven't got someone to always practice with, like, I won't always have someone to jump into the firing range with, unfortunately, then what I'll do is that I'll pop into firing range for a few minutes every day, and I'll take some shots with a Wingman, and I'll move about, I'll slide about, I'll jump about, I'll kind of try and hit the moving targets, I'll try and hit the dummies. You can make the dummies move if you wish, so they're a good target, and you can just do things for a few minutes each time. Now, what you find is that eventually, over a period of time, it's not going to happen instant, and it is a risk reward. It's kind of like, how much time do you want to put into the game? You know, if you really like this kind of game and you enjoy it, then you should absolutely just try and you know, do a little bit per day. Never say much, doesn't have to be a lot, it can just be a little bit of a kind of a gradual progression, and don't expect miracles. You know, if you instantly think that you're going to be this absolute god with a Wingman in about the space of 5 minutes, you're very much mistaken, trust me. It takes a lot of time and practice. However, this is why I do these videos, because at the end of the day, I'm hoping that these guides will kind of just help and maybe give a bit of incentive to try out whatever weapon you're weak with. It may not be the Wingman, you might be a god with that particular gun, but you might struggle with another weapon. Practice it. Go into the firing range, have your friend go to what your weakness is. If it's up close combat, have him do that. As you can see, this is exactly what my friend was doing, and eventually it pulled it off and got a down. I will take that as a victory. So that is it for the video. So remember to never stop moving, never stop believing, and stay Apex. If you like the video, a like really helps me out, and if you want to subscribe for future content, that would be absolutely amazing. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. You take care. Cheers now. Bye.